Last time you remember, Bullwinkle was guarding the suitcase full of stolen bank money when suddenly the bottom dropped out of the plot.
Oop! Termites!
But no, frantically tugging on the suitcase was our old nemesis, Boris Badenov.
Let go, you stupid moose.
I'm not giving up to no talking termite.
Fortunately, the sheriff was outside Bullwinkle's cell and heard the commotion. He immediately went to the moose's aid. But unfortunately, Boris's gang also arrived on the scene. Fortunately, Rocky zoomed in looking for the sheriff, but unfortunately...
Make up your mind, will you?
Get him in there. Oh, Alice, hey, Babyface, I got it. I got the suitcase.
Then let's get out of here.
And led by Boris, the light-fingered 5-2 dashed out of the hole, dragging the suitcase with them. They were quickly followed by our friends, who gained rapidly on the fleeing thieves.
Quick, pass me the loot.
And the thieves tossed the suitcase to Boris just before they were brought down by our friends.
Good work, Rocky. We've captured everybody except the ringleader.
Oh, we can always track him down, Sheriff.
How do you know that?
Look, he's leaving a trail of $100 bills.
And it was true. The flimsy straw valise had sprung a leak, and Boris was leaving a trail of money behind him as he fled.
Seems to be getting lighter. I must be catching my second wind.
Well, that's certainly a break for us, Rocky.
I don't think so, Sheriff. Look there.
Sure enough, a slight breeze had come up and the money was being blown all over town. Of course, this didn't go unnoticed by the citizens.
Now, there's something you don't see every day, Chauncey.
What's that, Edgar?
The wind blowing money down the street.
Oh, I don't know, Edgar. We always get a little breeze in the afternoon.
We gotta get those greenbacks back, Bullwinkle.
Don't you have one too many backs in there?
How can we get them, Rocky? They're blowing all over.
You leave it to me, Sheriff.
And the brainy squirrel dashed into a nearby appliance store and returned with a super-powered vacuum cleaner.
Rocky, this is no time to worry about being neat.
But in a few seconds, Rocky had strapped the cleaner to his back.
Now, give me a boost up, Bullwinkle. I've got some cleanup work to do.
So Bullwinkle seized Rocky and tossed him into the air like a small gray javelin. Rocky turned on the vacuum, and in a dazzling display of aerial acrobatics, gathered in bill after bill.
You know, for someone who lives on a diet of nuts, he's pretty smart.
And he's my friend.
Well, he can't be all smart.
Then, after gathering all the loose bills, Rocky zoomed off on Boris's trail, scooping up the money as he went. Back at the jail, the sheriff was giving Bullwinkle his instructions.
Put these three guys in the cooler, Bullwinkle. I'm going to help Rocky.
Okay, Sheriff. Come on, you fellas.
And Bullwinkle marched the three desperados right through the jail to a large ice house behind it.
Hey, what's the idea, buddy?
The sheriff wants you in the cooler, and that's where you're going.
Hey, what'll we do, Slug?
Yeah, it's freezing in here.
It's as cold as ice.
It is ice.
Oh, yeah.
Now, listen, you guys, I got an idea. Hey, Moose, it's dark in here.
What do you mean, dark? There's a light in there.
Yeah, but when you close the door, it goes out.
It does? I always wondered about that.
Sure. Look for yourself.
Okay.
And while Bullwinkle stared at the light bulb, the three hoodlums closed the door on him.
Uh-oh, I've been flim-flam.
That's right.
By the flimsiest kind of a flam.
That's right.
Them fellers tricked me.
That's right.
Look, it didn't go off at all.
And while the icicles slowly formed on the mighty moose, the light-fingered 5-2 dashed off free as birds. What an ending to a simple little newspaper publicity stunt. Don't miss our next episode, the last edition, or 5-Scar Final.
Once upon a time, there was a magnificent golden castle on a silver cloud high up in the sky, which has nothing to do with it because our story is about an old woodchopper who lived in a shack. But it's a good way to start a fairy tale. The old man was very happy, but he had a daughter who was very unhappy because, well, she was rather plain.
Yes, plain ugly.
Papa says I've got a face like 5 miles of bad road.
Right.
It was time for her to marry, but because she was so fat and ugly, none of the young men of the kingdom ever came to ask for her hand. She was terribly lonely. Then one day the old man said to her,
Child, today is your birthday, and I've brought you something to keep you from being so lonely.
A man?
No, a mule.
Now, a mule wasn't exactly the kind of a companion she had in mind, but at least it was somebody to talk to.
Silly beast. I wonder if you were once a handsome prince changed into a mule by a wicked witch. If so, I could break the spell with a kiss.
But it was no use. The mule was a mule and always had been a mule. Then early one morning, the old man instructed his daughter to take a bundle of sticks into the village.
A bundle of sticks? What for?
How should I know? But somebody's always carrying a bundle of sticks around in fairy tales. You know that.
So the young girl took the bundle of sticks and decided to ride her mule into the village, and then a very strange thing happened. Unknown to her, the moment she climbed onto the mule's back, she changed into a beautiful maiden. When she reached the village, she could hardly believe her eyes, for a handsome young prince rode up to her on a snow-white horse and exclaimed,
"Ah, fair lady, you are truly the most lovely beauty in the land."
The young girl looked him in the eye and said,
What's the matter? You nuts or something?
With your permission, I should like to call upon you tonight, say 8 o'clock.
Flushed with excitement, she raced for home, but when she arrived and stepped off of her mule, she immediately returned to her fat little ugly self. That night, promptly at 8, the prince, sitting astride his white charger, knocked at the door.
Hello?
Is your sister home?
I don't have a sister. I live here alone with my father.
Oh, I must have the wrong house. Bye.
The poor girl was broken-hearted and couldn't figure out what had gone wrong. The following day, her father again asked her to go into the village, but this time to pick up a bundle of sticks.
It'll take your mind off all that ugly.
No sooner had she climbed upon her mule's back again than once again she was changed into a beautiful maiden. On her way to the village, she chanced to pass a clear, still pool of water. Looking into it, she saw her reflection and was shocked to see that she was now so very beautiful. She hopped off her mule for a closer look, and instantly she changed back into her former ugly self, and then she suddenly realized what had happened.
I get it now. This is a magic mule. As long as I sit on this beast, I'm a beauty.
She jumped back onto the mule, and the beauty and the beast dashed off to find the prince. When the prince saw her coming, he rode up to her on his gallant steed and said,
"Ah, lovely beauty, I found you again. Please say that you'll be mine so that we may be married."
Yes, but on one condition, that I remain on my mule at all times.
So be it, my love. And so that we start off on the right foot, I shall stay on my horse as long as you stay on your mule.
And thus they were married. As the years went by, the young girl was very happy, but having to sit on her mule day and night did pose quite a problem. She had to sleep in a special bed, bathe in a special tub, and eat at a special table. True to his word, the prince also stayed on his horse, and he was a good husband. Every Saturday night he took her dancing at the palace, where they were the most striking couple on the floor. Then one day, as she rode in the garden...
Oops! The wind blew my new bonnet off.
Not stopping to think, she hopped off of her mule to get the bonnet, and she immediately became ugly again.
Oh, good heavens, what have I done? I've got to get back on that silly mule before...
But it was too late, for just then the prince rode up.
Pardon me, old hag, but have you seen my wife? Wait a minute. This is her mule.
Yes, and I am your wife.
Realizing that she was trapped, the girl sadly confessed the whole story to her husband. But instead of being angry, he did an amazing thing.
Yahoo! Yippee!
I don't get it. Are you happy to find out that I'm really ugly?
Oh, no. I'm happy to know that I can finally get off this blasted horse. You see, I'm only a handsome prince when I stay on him.
With that, the prince hopped off his horse and...
You see? I'm as ugly as you are.
Eesh, uglier.
We were meant for each other.
Darling.
Sweetheart. And just think, no more saddle sores.
And so they were able to live happily ever after, which only goes to prove that a mule and his honey are soon parted.
Hello, Culture Gang. Today's poem is that epic of time travel, Dickory Dickory Dock. You're sure you know your part now?
Sure.
Okay. Hickory Dickory Dock, the mouse ran up the clock. Very good. The clock struck 1 and down he run. Down he run. Hey, that's your cue.
No, the clock one.
I don't care. You're supposed to run down.
In my script, it's the clock that runs down.
You come on out of there. I'm coming in to get you.
Just try it.
Okay. Of all the dag-flatted blag-stagging. No!
There. You'll be all right in a week or so.
Why don't you pick on somebody your own size?
Now, just what caused the accident, Mr. Moose?
Well, obviously, it was Hickory Dickory. Doc?
Hello out there, Sherman here. And in case you're wondering why I'm making the introduction, it's because Mr. Peabody's making repairs on the Wayback Machine. How's it coming, Mr. Peabody?
Just fine, Sherman. The points need adjusting, that's all. Continue your introduction.
Today, through the wonder of Mr. Peabody's incomparable Wayback Machine, we will go back to March 9, 1831 for the beginning of the Foreign French Legion.
French Foreign Legion.
French Foreign Legion, I mean.
Good boy. Back in its usual superb condition, the Wayback quickly transported us to the Sahara Desert, and there, in the middle of nowhere, stood a Foreign Legion fort. Surrounding it were 20,000 hostile Arabs.
It is written that I, Sheikh Abdul Fanuq, will lead you into battle against the hated foreign dogs. We shall drive them from the Sahara after we eat dinner.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Peabody, they're going to attack the fort.
We hurried through the front gate, anxious to spread the alarm, and the first one we ran into was a sergeant.
Quickly, little boy, hand me those horseshoes.
Sherman obeyed, and the sergeant departed with an armful.
How about they're getting horses ready so they can attack?
Nothing could have been farther from the truth.
Ringer! That puts me two up on you, Pierre. Sacre bleu.
One moment, gentlemen, but are you aware that Sheikh Fanuq is on the verge of an attack?
An attack of what, monsieur? Appendicitis?
An attack on this fort.
That is impossible. The Sheikh is in Araby. You throw, Sergeant.
They'll be caught unprepared, Mr. Peabody.
Yes, I'm afraid we must convince them of their perilous position. We emerged from the fort and crossed the sand dunes to Sheikh Fanuq's tent. Sheikh, my name is Peabody.
What can I do for you, Effendi?
Well, I thought you'd like to know that the last tour of the fort is starting right now.
Tour of the fort?
Yes, we conduct a guided tour during which we reveal many interesting sidelights about the construction and so forth.
Ha ha ha! What, you take me for a fool?
The tour is free.
That's different.
Being a dog of my word, I did escort him on a guided tour, and we ended it by watching the sergeant and Pierre play horseshoes.
Bonjour, Sheik. I thought you were out of town.
Sergeant, Pierre, I was hoping the Sheik's presence here would convince you a battle will soon take place.
Oh, it does, monsieur, it does. You play horseshoes, Sheik?
Who doesn't?
Amazing as it sounds, the Sheik joined the two legionnaires in a match.
They still won't believe us, Mr. Peabody.
The contest ended in a tie, and the Sheik and his men prepared to withdraw from the fort.
I will come back after dinner and we shall continue. Come, men, back to the tents.
Maybe we're wrong, Mr. Peabody. The Sheik doesn't sound as though he's going to attack.
Sherman was right, but just as the Arabs passed through the gate, his chief henchman spoke in lower Algerian Arabic.
Boop, didum, dadum, wadum, shoo.
Aha! I wasted no time in relaying the message to the sergeant.
You heard him say what, monsieur?
The Arabs have planted a time bomb in this fort, and they're going to blow you up.
That's silly. If he blows us up, the Sheik will forfeit the horseshoe game. But just to please you, we will try to locate the so-called bomb. Come, Pierre, we make with the search.
And search they did. However, after going through the entire fort...
There is no bomb on these premises. Pierre is right.
Then will you explain why your flag has suddenly sagged to half-mast?
It is an omen. Quick, monsieur, help us locate the bomb.
But they've already looked everywhere, Mr. Peabody.
Not everywhere, Sherman. Sergeant, what time do you have?
It's 1:45 explosion. What?
Yes, the ingenious Arabs had constructed a bomb in the form of a watch and had given it to the sergeant as a going-away gift.
You mean this is a bomb?
Precisely. And I think it would be apropos in this case if we returned it to the givers. So saying, I threw the timepiece in a northerly direction.
The Arabs are 200 yards away. It would be impossible to hit them from here.
Not for Mr. Peabody. He's an All-American.
And so the Arab quietly folded his tent and stole away.
There they go again, more horseshoes. Is that all they ever do?
Oh, no. Sometimes they are forced to seek cover because of sandstorms. Ooh, here comes one now. It has an odd aroma, doesn't it, Sherman?
I'll say. It doesn't smell like regular Legion air.
Well, of course, Sherman. It's foreign Legion air. Get it? Legion air?
Well, the Frostbite Falls newspaper really started something when it buried a pot full of Confederate money as a promotional stunt. Within a week, the town was dug full of holes, the bank was robbed, and Bullwinkle was locked up by a gang of thieves. Meanwhile, the gang leader, Boris Badenov, was heading for the hills, toting a valise that leaked $100 bills. Close behind, Rocky was scooping them up with a powerful vacuum cleaner. Unfortunately, the machine was a little too powerful.
Uh-oh. Excuse me, Mr. Braunschweiger. I thought you were a $100 bill.
Name is Babyface, not Bill.
But then Boris spotted his empty suitcase.
Raskolnikov, I've been hijacked by carpet sweeper.
And he started off after the fleeing Rocky.
Uh-oh. I gotta find some place to hide this money. But where?
Then Rocky's sharp eye spotted a small building on a back street.
That's it. The old ice house. Nobody'd ever think to go in there.
Gee, Rock, I thought you'd never show up.
Bullwinkle, what are you doing here?
Far as I can tell, I'm freezing to death.
Come on. We gotta hide this vacuum cleaner full of money.
How about putting it under this loose board?
Yeah, but that board isn't loose.
Now it is.
Good. I'll just put... Uh-oh. There's something here already.
Something to do with the plot, I'll bet.
I'll say, look.
Oh, it's just an ordinary pot full of Confederate money.
Bullwinkle, it's the Picayune pot.
Isn't it, though? The Picayune pot! Then we win the prize!
Yeah, now we've only got one problem.
What's that?
Staying alive to collect it.
What's so tough about that?
Well, I'll tell you, buddy.
Yike!
Yike indeed, for there in the room with them stood Boris Badenov.
Okay, Squirrel, hand over that vacuum cleaner.
Never. Here, catch, Bullwinkle.
Got it, Rock!
The money flew out. Boris seized it and headed for the door.
No, sir, Mr. Babyface Braunschweiger. You won't get by me.
Watch carefully. Crime marches on.
And Boris dashed out through the doorway.
Rocky, he got away. We're gonna have another unhappy ending.
I don't think so, Bullwinkle.
How come?
Well, you see, that's not the door to outside.
It's not.
I tricked him. Read the sign.
Ice making room, keep out danger. Rocky, you've did it again.
So a short time later, our friends stood with the sheriff outside the ice house.
Well, we've got 3 of the crooks in the clink, Rocky. But what happened to the bank's money?
Just watch. There it is. It's all in a block of ice.
What do you know? Frozen assets.
But what about Babyface Braunschweiger?
Coming right up, Sheriff.
And that was as near as the arch-fiend ever again came to the bank's money. The next day, he was shipped, ice and all, to the state Huskow. And our boys, heroes to the end, collected the prize for finding the Picayune pot, a genuine reconditioned Stearns Knight runabout.
There's only one thing wrong, boys.
What's that?
There's so many holes dug in the street, there's no place to drive it.
But a little thing like that didn't bother our friends, and soon Bullwinkle was thoroughly enjoying driving his new old car, even though he wasn't going anywhere.
Hold it right there, Rocky.
How come, Bullwinkle?
I like to watch the sunset.
Look out! It's tipping over!
And so as the sun slowly sets over Bullwinkle, we take leave of our heroes. Be with us next time for the further adventures of Rocky, the Flying Squirrel.
Yeah.